I don't know what to say about that. That's my biggest ever. Just trying to process what I just saw on the scale. Don't say to me, oh, it's just a number. I think in this video I'm just going to share, put it that way. I'm going to share. This is a disclaimer as well that everything that I share is my personal experience. I'm not claiming to be any kind of medical doctor or anything like that, or it's just through personal experience and my beliefs and just how I've dealt with things all my life and things like that. And one of the things that I've been struggling with, obviously, is the scale, is the weight. With that, just know that this is just a heart talk. First off, well, where should I start? I guess I could go back as far as before I had my kids. My kids are, they're adults now. And before my children, I never had a health problem. I didn't suffer with the weight. I was teeny. I'm 5'1", 5'2", and my max weight back then was like 108 pounds, 110 pounds. Matter of fact, when I got pregnant for my first one, I was 108 pounds. And by the time I got 9 months, for him, I believe I was 152 pounds. Like, that's how much I gained in my first pregnancy. The motto, especially when it came with my mother, she always said, when you're pregnant, you're eating for two. Don't worry about what you're eating, all that stuff, right? Because before I was like a steak and salad kind of girl, and yeah, I liked my meat and potatoes, but I really preferred my meat and my salad, tossed salad, and wasn't too much of a veggie eater either. My salads were, celery and lettuce and cucumbers and peppers, stuff like that, but I wasn't into broccoli or cauliflower or Brussels sprouts or anything like that. But anyway, so I was teeny girl. So when I got pregnant and gained all that weight, I thought, what am I going to do? How am I going to get all this weight off? Now, of course, a lot of it they say it's baby weight. And so, yeah, it was. And I got down to 136 pounds. And I remember doing a cabbage soup diet back then. And that's really what got me down to that. Stick to the cabbage soup. And I did, I ate my meat and things like that in my salad. But I wasn't much of a junk food eater. Now, mind you, when I was pregnant for my first child, I craved fudgicles, and I would sit and eat probably 5 or 6 of them at once. And ketchup chips, for some reason. Of course, when you're pregnant, you've got some really weird cravings. Ketchup chips and fudgicles. Wow, what a combo. But yeah, that's what I would crave, and I would eat that. That was my junk. I wasn't a pop drinker. I'm still not a pop drinker. I have a hard time even just getting carbonation, like even if it's carbonated water, just that feeling and the bubbles and everything else, I can't handle it going down, and I don't, the burping and all that, but yeah, I'm not a junk food eater. And so I could never understand from the time that from my oldest to my youngest, for 20 years, I would maybe eat once a day. And if I did, it was supper. And I lived off coffee throughout the day. Maybe I'd throw in a peanut butter sandwich or something just to tie me over until supper time. So again, for 20 years, I ate like that once a day. And what I would have for supper would be the typical meat, potatoes, and vegetables, or rice and stir fry or something like that. But it was usually that. So anyway, when I got pregnant for my second one, now at that time I was 150, I think I was 152 pounds when I got pregnant for him. And when I was 9 months pregnant, I got up to 189, I think it was, or 187. Doesn't matter, 2 pounds difference. But anyway, I think I was around that. Seeing that scale when I had him at 9 months after I had him, and struggled before I got pregnant for him to get the weight off, I thought, I'm a done deal. I'm never going to get this weight off. But again, I couldn't understand why I was gaining so much weight after having my kids. Because I wasn't this junk food eater and pop drinker and chips and chocolate bars and all that, I was never into that. So I could never understand why I gained all this weight. And you get researching and everything, and people, the things that I was finding, it's hereditary. Well, yeah, a lot of the women in my family, on both sides of the family, are big women. And I thought, well, there you go. That's the way it's going to be for me. But I've been lately, actually, I'll back up. I won't start with that yet. But now, back in 2016, I had heard about a diet called Ideal Protein. And Ideal Protein, I couldn't believe how much it worked. I've dropped 75 pounds. Now, mind you, it took me 16 months to do it. And the coach that I had was amazing. And she said, slow and steady wins the race. That was her attitude. And, and if you drop in large amounts of weight fast, it's not good for your system. So, okay, fine. So I was in love with the results. I was in love with how I was feeling. This is the first time I'm going to say this, but I guess I have suffered with some sort of depression. Never admitted it because of my faith in the Lord. I don't think it would be depression, though. This is where I'm going to kind of clarify this. I don't know if I would want to call it depression. I think it would just be frustrated, just annoyed, easily annoyed with not only myself but with people in general. Disappointed would definitely be something that, disappointed would be more of the word I would use more than depression. Because disappointment can lead to just giving up. So I wouldn't necessarily consider being disappointed as depression, if that makes sense. For me, when it comes to my weight, or when it comes to anything that I've ever done in my life, whether it was my weight, my business, just amounting to anything in life, really was wondering, like, I was always like, am I ever going to, is this all there is? Am I ever going to amount to anything in life? Just being disappointed in myself that it just seemed like anything I ever tried to do failed. Stuff like that. So back when I was doing the Ideal Protein and I had lost the 75 pounds, and feeling confident that I actually achieved something in life. And just feeling amazing. And like I would walk probably a good 5 to 7 miles, maybe even 5 to 8 miles a day. And sometimes I would do that twice a day. I've got an amazing area where I can walk out in the country, in hills and things like that, that I just really enjoyed. And I took that time also as my, I guess, my devotion time between me and my Lord, and walking with him and talking with him and taking pictures of the creation, and just it felt really, really good doing that. And for some reason, I don't know what happened, but I got sidetracked or something. But that Christmas, after I had lost the weight or whatever, that Christmas, I had and I wasn't eating potatoes or rice or anything like that. I was stuck to the plan, the protocol, the meal plans that Ideal Protein provides or has. That Christmas, I decided to have a tablespoon of potatoes. And I put a little cup, like a tablespoon of gravy on top of that potato. And I remember going on a severe carb, I don't even know what to call it. I did nothing but carbs. I got back into the bread. I got back into just fast food, grab something quick, out the door, things like that. And within, I think it was 3 to 5 months, I gained all that back and more, obviously. I have been up and down trying to get back on that plan because I knew it was the only one that worked for me. And I can't stay committed to it, and I don't understand why. Knowing that it worked for me. Knowing that it worked for me, you would think it would be easy to get back on track. But I have been struggling. Also, since, now I'm going to fast forward, because that was back in 2016 to 2018. Well, then we all get introduced to C19, right? And I got into homesteading, I got into gardening, really investigating the food industry, how things are grown. That's enough to depress anybody. But you're thinking, well, the fight is all not so much. Well, the fight is in the industry because of how they grow the food. And what I've come to realize is that even just something as what we would think is healthy as lettuce, the chemical that they use to grow that lettuce, the lettuce really is no longer lettuce. Not the lettuce that God made. It's no longer that. So we're putting all these chemicals in. We think that we're eating healthy. Like I said, I was salad. I love my salad. And I still do. I love my salad. But when I got into homesteading, after researching how things were grown and what kind of chemicals they used, that's what got me motivated more to get into gardening, so that I could grow my own food, and I knew what was in the food, and I knew I wasn't going to be using pesticides and herbicides and all the hot sides. Then I thought, okay, well, if that's what they're doing to the vegetables and guaranteed the fruit, what are they doing to the meat? How are they growing the cows, the pigs, the chickens, the fish, things like that? And I got into that, and I was like, okay, time to start looking locally for beef, because yes, I have a 3-acre property, and I can grow a cow out and get it butchered and stuff like that, which I am looking into. But I started out with what they call the gateway to homesteading when it comes to growing your own meat, and that is chicken. So I do the Cornish cross breed. But even that I've been actually kind of questioning, because I know that they're genetically modified to just strictly be a meat bird, to beef up in a short amount of time. And big industry, it is a big industry, the chicken industry, and that's all they look for is like these chickens maybe live 6 weeks, and they're already butchered and in our grocery stores. So I'm kind of looking into a different breed, like a dual purpose type breed that I can breed myself, so I know it's not going to be genetically modified. But anyway, so I got into chickens and raising first my eggs, and then I got into the meat birds. Now this year I'm actually going to be looking into pig and getting my own milk cow too. I got into looking at local beef farmers in my area, and I found one, and I asked, how they grow out, how they feed, and they're grass fed, and yeah, they top off grain at the end, but it's grain that they grow and corn that they grow. So anyway, I got into buying from him. And so I've noticed a difference in my body and how it feels since I got out of that, buying from the grocery store, my meat and my veggies, because I was growing it all and preserving it and all that. And I love chicken so much that, I easily put 50, 60 birds in my freezer every year, and we will go through that every year. I noticed a difference in how my body felt and things like that. During 2019 and currently with the C-19 and all the other coronas, I noticed the hype of all that, the fear mongering, kind of got to watch what I say here, but the food shortages, the supply chain issues, which haven't stopped, mind you. It's still happening, and it's going to happen even more in the very near future. When I got into the homesteading, I really started to, I guess, I'm going to put out there, I was overspending on things that wasn't necessary, what I thought was needed in order to run the homestead. So I jacked up some debt because of it. And I thought, okay, I got to take control of this. So some of you don't know, I went to truck driving school. Now, before I go into that part, I'm not a graduate of high school. The job criteria or job, things that I would qualify for a job would be minimum wage jobs. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to be able to make a good dent or pay this off quickly by working for minimum wage. So something that I always wanted to do, because I was raised in the truck, was to be a truck driver. Those of you who also know, Canada and the truck convoy and everything else, and I thought maybe I'm getting into the wrong industry, but you know what, I'm going to try it anyway, and we're going to see, because we're still going to need truck drivers, no matter what. And so I went to school last January, got my license, and I've been driving truck ever since this year. But being in the truck has affected what I'm eating, which is why I'm gaining more of the weight. So since May of this year, of now we're in 2024, March of 2023, I was out on my own in the truck. I had, they gave me a truck, and I was on my own. So at that time, I was 183 pounds. Now, as you see, 218. Like, that's insane. I just can't even process that. That's my biggest. Eating habits can be very, very poor. And they do say a truck driver has probably the poorest eating diet ever, because they're always on the go, go, go. And it's just easier to grab a burger or stop at the truck stop and just grab something quick, or sit down and eat this mound of food that they give you, and it's usually fast food, fried, whatever. So I noticed that from May until now, that's basically what I was doing. I was just grabbing quick things, a sub, and chocolate bars. And one thing I couldn't give up, though, was Ideal Protein. One of their foods was their popcorn chips. Love those. So I eat those, and I think I'm doing a good job. At least it's not regular chips. Yeah, no. But anyways, so I've been going into, looking into the carnivore, because I've done keto, and Ideal Protein is a form of keto, but keto is a high fat. Ideal Protein is low fat, very lean meats, no fruits, no vegetables, no fruits, no sugar, nothing processed. So it's basically your meat and your veggies, and then the 3 items that you would have to eat from their product line a day. And you're probably consuming about 9 to 1,000, maybe 1,200 tops calories a day. And so, but what I noticed when I was on the Ideal Protein is I would lose as long as I stayed under 900 calories, which isn't a lot, as we all know. 900 calories, like you could do that in a sitting, depending on what you're eating. Anyways, the carnivore diet is more fat, and when I was doing the Ideal Protein, I noticed that if I did consume too much fat, I would either flatline and not lose anything, or I would gain. So the carnivore, what I'm going to be doing is still going to be, what they suggest, which is your meat and your eggs. One of the doctors on YouTube here says don't get into cheese, stay away from dairy, except for if you're going to have coffee and you need to have the cream, make sure it's the heavy cream, and 30% kitty cat, 30% fat. Well, for me, I'm not, and I've been a bad coffee drinker lately too, in the truck. And so what I'm going to do, because I need the cream in my coffee, is I'm not going to have the coffee. I'm just going to completely eliminate it and stick to my, just stick to the water. Now, I do have an electrolyte that I'm going to add to my water sometimes, but I love water. I can drink it plain, no problem. It doesn't bother me at all. But just for, the odd just change of taste or whatever, I'll probably do that once in a while, not like every day or anything. And so I'm going to just stick to probably my beef that I buy, the chicken that I grow on my homestead here, and my eggs that I grow as well, and my water. And I'm going to try this. It says to stick to 90 days and see what's happening. One of the main reasons, not only because of the weight, is because you're sitting in the truck for 13 hours a day. You get in and out of the truck just enough to drop the trailer and pick the trailer and pick up another trailer. So that's not really much movement going on. And now, mind you, sometimes I'll make a lap around just to get the blood flowing around the truck and trailer, and breathe, do some deep breathing while I'm doing that to get, some fresh air into me, and and I love that. So I'm gonna probably do a couple laps around just to keep me moving. But as long as I keep the junk food away from me, which in this house, I'm not the only one that's kind of gone out of control when it comes to junk. I'll put it that way. And so I'm not going to harp and go on. I'm just going to kind of just put the blinders on and stay focused on me. One thing, when I think about it, when I did decide to do Ideal Protein and go full commitment, that's what it was. I made a commitment to myself. I made a promise to myself that I was going to look after Tammy. And Tammy was going to be the only one that could do it, and nobody else. And don't expect everybody else to be on board. Don't expect everybody else to do it for you, or even to do it with you, because everybody's in a different mindset, and everybody's got to go through their journey on their own. And that's exactly what happened back then. I just put it to mind that, okay, Tammy, you're going to do this, and don't expect anybody else to cheer you on or anything else. You don't really necessarily need the encouragement from other people, because they're not the ones doing the hard work. You're the one doing the hard work. And every day that you get through, another day, of your promise to yourself, that's your recognition. I need to, I'm speaking to the choir here, I need to look at that as my recognition, as my kudos, Tammy, way to go, you did it, you can do it. And because I'm a faith person, I'll, be taking my Lord with me, and He didn't fail me, He never fails me. So take Him along with me, and because anytime I did get discouraged or whatever, I always went to Him, and I always went on that walk. Now that it's winter time, I'm not going to do as many hours in the truck, because of the weather itself. But I think as long as I just do, because I normally do 3 trips a day, I'm going to drop it down to 2, and then when I get home, I still got enough daylight time to go for a walk. So after I get home, put everything away, and then go out for the walk real quick. It's going to have to start, I'm going to have to obviously start over. There's no way I'm going to be doing 5 to 7 or 8 miles a day. But at least it's going to be at least a half an hour of walking. And probably start out with a mile, to the well, you don't know, but there's a beach down the end of my road to walk down that way and come back. So that's about a mile. And anyway, so I'm going to really consider doing a more modified type carnivore diet for myself, not as much fat. The doctor that I've been watching, he says, stay away from the dairy, stay away from, the cheese and the cream and the sauces and even the snacks, because you can't be snacking. So it's either you got to choose 1, 2, or 3 meals a day. I'll probably start out with the 3 and then knock it down to 2 and probably stay with the 2. I think I'll be good with that. Now this morning, and that is some morning weight there on that, but I'm not going to excuse that. That's the way it is. I've already eaten. I've got 4 eggs into me, and my beef that I can, it's already cooked, and it's nice and juicy and tender, so I won't have to worry too much about that. So I just have to grab a jar of meat and make sure that I've got eggs boiled. They say don't do any kind of like mayo or margarine or anything like that. So the meat that I have in the jar has accumulated its own juices. And so that's going to be kind of like my sauce in a way. And so what I did this morning was I took 5 ounces of the meat and I warmed that up, and then I put 4 eggs in there and I just mashed it all together and ate that. Put some salt on it, salt and pepper, and it actually was good and it was satisfying, and I'm really full right now. And they do say that the carnivore diet is going to be filling, and you're not going to be hungry because the protein lasts a long time. So again, it depends if you're eating once, twice, or 3 times a day, and no snacking in between, you're not going to be hungry. So I'm looking forward to that, because it's not that I was hungry, it's just that when you're driving the truck, you get snacky. And that's what I was doing, was snacking. So I would, bring an apple and a banana, and I would have a chocolate bar, and I would have my popcorn chips from the Ideal Protein Plan, and that's what I would snack on throughout the day. In between my lunch, my lunch I wouldn't have a breakfast because I get up early in the morning, so I would just make my coffee and go. But the lunch would be a sandwich or like a sub sandwich or something. Yeah, that's basically what it would be. That would be a sandwich. Or I would boil up some eggs and have an egg salad sandwich or something, and I would put that in my lunchbox. And that would be what I would eat for the rest of the day. But then when I would get home, because there's junk here in the house, cookies and cakes. So going into this diet, I know I'm going to be going through some withdrawals because, like I said, eating all that junk, sugar is truly a drug. It really is. And what I forgot to mention when I was describing earlier, after I had taken the potatoes at Christmas time and got into this uncontrollable carb thing, I honestly don't know what to call it, but it was induced. I remember the first couple of weeks of that happening, I felt high. Like just the sugar in my brain was because it had been already clean of everything. My body had been completely clean of all forms of sugar, and which gave my pancreas a break, my liver, my gallbladder. But I forgot to mention too, just when I had lost the weight and regained it, so 2016, 2018, then 2019, just before C19 came about, I had gallbladder issues. And so I went to the doctor, and at first it started out, I thought, there was something going on. Excuse me. Well, I thought there's something going on with my liver, because I have this, and I still do, but I have this ball-like thing, and it gets really hard, and it gets tucked under my ribs. If any of you know what it is, my doctors are saying they're not finding anything. They don't feel nothing. They don't see nothing on any of the scans that they've done on me. And that my doctor's just chalking it up as tissue. So tissue is being tucked under my rib in a ball-like form that gets hardened when I eat certain foods. And so we even tested if I had issues with gluten and dairy and all the things that I could be developing allergies. I was getting this pain like thing getting tucked under my rib. And so she did a test on me, and or a scan or whatever on me, and they said that the wall of my gallbladder, I don't know if it was apparently it was something that could develop into a cancerous thing, and so they just assumed that the best thing to do was to remove the gallbladder. Ever since I've gotten my gallbladder removed, and I still have that issue, because they said that it would take that away probably. It didn't. I still have that issue, but my digestion is just, it's not working. It's not happening. It doesn't matter what I eat, what I drink. If I just drank water for that day, like, not to get gross or nothing, but regurgitation comes, and it's just acidy, and it's stuck in the esophagus, and heartburn and indigestion, and oh my gosh, you name it, and just upset, nauseous all the time, that nauseous feeling, and headaches. So I've been watching this doctor again, and he's all carnivore, and he's talking about people that don't have gallbladders, and that the carnivore is still possible for you to do it. So I'm now taking a supplement for that, and bile salts. And then I decided that I'm also going to add the apple cider vinegar and lemon to my water. Last night was a test that I wanted to check out. Of course, I had cake and everything after supper when I come home from work, and I got heartburn and indigestion, and it was just bleh. Excuse me. So I said, you know what, I'm going to try the apple cider vinegar with the lemon in my water, and I downed a bottle of that, where I usually would take a bunch of Tums, chewable tablets. And so I thought, I'm going to stay away from the Tums, and I'm going to try this apple cider vinegar and lemon concoction. So I did that, and within probably a half an hour, it was gone. Right there, I was like, okay. And I'm sorry if I'm fumbling my words, but I've got so many thoughts going on in my head right now that I'm trying to, like, get them all together here for you. But anyway, so for me, getting that confirmation, I guess, with the apple cider vinegar and the lemon juice in my water before I went to bed, it felt good, because I wasn't laying there in the bed and my gut feeling all raunchy and just terrible. So this morning I woke up, and that was the first thing I did, is I took another bottle and mixed up some more apple cider vinegar that I had made actually last year from the apples that I have here in my Homestead. And anyway, so I put that and some lemon juice in the water before I did anything, and I have not had a coffee yet either. I am noticing, I am starting to feel the effects of that, of not having my coffee, because by now, what time is it? 11. So by now I would probably have half of my thermos, the big thermos, drank, plus the one that I made in my cup before. So every morning I would make my travel mug coffee, and then I would make my thermos. So I would already have 3 extra large coffees into me by now. So I haven't had anything. So I am noticing it. And it's not so much, like I haven't developed a headache yet or anything, but it's kind of fuzzy. And like I'm looking at the camera right now, and you're kind of fuzzy. I'm not dizzy or anything, but just that fuzziness in my eyes. But anyway, and so I drank the water with that, and then I took the bile salt. Now, one thing I did notice about taking the bile salt is I did get nauseous. So what I'm going to do is take it every other day, not every day, until things start getting, well, my body and the things get, I guess, settled down and alkalined a little bit more, and so that my digestive system is kind of getting back on track. I'll continue drinking that throughout this carnivore process. I'm committing myself to 90 days to see what that is, what it's going to look like in 90 days. One thing too is I'm looking forward to is the inflammation to go. My hips and my joints and everything have been really, really painful and just creepy crawly feeling all the time, and it just drives me crazy. I also, which has been passed down to me, restless leg syndrome, so I'm told that I'll probably get rid of that as well. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, so really I just kind of wanted to open up a little bit to where I've been at for the last, well, I kind of condensed 20 years into how many minutes here? I don't even know. But the last 2 years, 3 years has been challenging for sure. And I do know myself, and I know that if I didn't have my faith, if I didn't have Jesus, I don't know where I would be. Yeah, I'll just leave that there because there's so much packed into that too that I could share. But this right now, this video is basically kind of opening up a little bit to where I was, 2016 till now, and what I've been, I guess, kind of dealing with, and sharing it with you all. Kind of another reason why too that the videos weren't happening is I was so consumed into working and staying focused on getting, this particular debt paid off, which is, it's not huge, but it's big enough for me that would make me think that, I've got to get rid of this, especially with what's happening. It's going to be happening down the pipes later. So because my focus is to get all debts paid off, our mortgage and these credit cards and my car paid off. So those are the 3 major things. But within 5 years, I can get them paid off, if not sooner. So that's the goal for that. And then just my personal struggles with weight, my personal struggles when it comes to just being frustrated and annoyed and disappointed in myself and things like that. So I know a lot of that can be induced by diet and what we eat. So I guess really that would be another reason why I was making this video, is that I'm coming to realize that that old adage or that old saying, you are what you eat, that you are, and your body will tell you. And if it really has to scream at you, it will scream at you through pain. Pain and inflammation and just your irritability, your moods. Your body, if you really truly get in tune with it and you start listening to it, it'll tell you. And that's basically kind of I wasn't listening to it. And so now I'm going to start. Because, like I said, the pain and the inflammation and sitting in the truck and the legs just driving me crazy, and the pain in my hips from just sitting in the chair for that length, for all that time. And then getting into bed as soon as I get home and just being uncomfortable. I can't get comfortable in bed. I can't get a good night's sleep and things like that. So with this carnivore diet, it gives you the idea also that, yeah, you're going to get better sleep. And the inflammation will go down because there's nothing really inflammatory when it comes to carnivore. Just eliminating the things that my body doesn't need. And I'm just going to see what happens in these next 90 days. And I guess I'll take you along with me and share the progress and what's happening, and even, the ups and downs of it all. So I will definitely do a kind of an update type video, pop in and say what's been going on this week, how I've been feeling, if there's been any changes, good or bad, things like that. When I get the chance to make the video to give you an update, then I'll do that. So I won't do like a time, I'll put one every week or every other week or whatever of an update. So I'm not going to do that. But anyway, thank you for listening to me ramble on. Sometimes we do need to kind of just open up a little bit and get some of that out to de-stress a little. But anyway, thanks again for listening. We'll see you in the next video. If you like this sort of content or any of the other content that I have on my channel, be sure to like the videos, share, subscribe, comment, do all the things. Much appreciated. And again, I appreciate everybody's support who have done all those things. And just thank you for visiting. And I hope to see you again. Okay, bye for now. God bless.